Hey everyone, I'm Cary Smith and I'm sitting here with Cheri Turner.
Hi, everyone.
And Cheri and I are both with Client First Capital. And today, Cheri actually has put together a great topic for us. And it's the 5 common mistakes that people make in retirement. And hopefully, it's not one that you're making as well.
Right.
So, Cheri, now you've shared the topics with me, so I'm going to mention each of the topic and let you kind of share the detail behind that topic. But I have a surprise for you. I have a bonus one, so maybe a sixth one that I'll mention at the
Okay.
end. And
That
it's a
sounds good.
mistake that a lot of us have seen our parents make in
Mm-hmm.
retirement, and we want to make
Okay.
sure we don't make that mistake also.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Okay. Look
so you
forward to
ready to
it.
do this?
I am. Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it.
All right, so here's the first one that you put together. It's taking Social Security income too early.
Yes. As we know, we can take Social Security as early as age 62. So, for many individuals who are looking at early retirement, they might be tempted to take that offer. What we find, though, is by taking it as early as 62, your benefit is as much as 30% below what it would have been had you waited until full retirement age. So with that, you want to think about, the sufficiency of being able to live off that amount. But another consideration of that amount is that that also determines your survivor benefit. So if you have a spouse who's going to survive you, that also means that the pay that they are going to continue to live on is going to be reduced. One of the things that we typically find with Social Security is that if you're going to live to about 80 to 82, I think 82 is about the equal age, then it is in fact worth it to wait until age 70. The way that it works is delaying between your full retirement age, which starts at 67 currently. Delaying until 70 actually increases your benefits at 8% each year. So in the end, waiting until 70, as long as you live until about 80 to 82, actually gets you more over the course of your lifetime than starting early, even though it's fewer total payments.
Okay. So if you can, you should delay it as much as possible.
Yes,
Now, for some people, they don't have that choice. They need the
right.
money, right? And
Absolutely.
so other people may make the decision of there's just not longevity in my family, and I have chronic health conditions, and maybe they'll
Mhm.
make that judgment that they may not live as long, right?
Yes.
There is a gamble there, right? A
Yeah.
financial gamble.
Hmm.
But if you can wait, no matter how you crunch the numbers or look at it, it's worth it to wait.
Most typically, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very good. Okay. So the second one is sometimes in retirement, we hold too much in cash.
Yes. For me, this always brings up memories of people who went through the depression, right? We think of them or hear stories of them stuffing cash into their mattresses. Or my grandpa actually used to bury cash in the backyard. He was a big gardener. So, we think about those things. And first of all, if we think about inflation, the fact that if we run at an average of about 3% per year, that cash is actually losing value every single year as far as your purchasing power. So keeping it in cash is really limiting the value that it's bringing to you over time. The other thing is the missed investment opportunities. By keeping it in cash, you're missing out on the growth that you could have seen. So even things like bonds or a money market account, although they're conservative and safe, you're still going to be gaining some money and hopefully outpacing inflation. The other thing to keep in mind, although it's important to have an emergency fund, a lot of people think, oh, I need to have that emergency fund in a savings account or quickly available as cash. It doesn't necessarily all need to be as cash. It is good to keep a portion of your emergency fund readily available. However, you can have a majority of it invested in ETFs that invest in short term bonds and things like that, that are very liquid and can be turned around easily and quickly in the event that we need to get to that money.
Okay. So are you saying if I plant cash in my backyard, I'm probably not going to reap more than I sowed?
No, you're probably not. That
Probably
is
going to
true.
get less, right? It's going
Yeah.
to lose value.
Yeah.
Okay. Understand. All right. Here's another common mistake. And, a lot of times when we retire, we're in good health or relatively good health. And we know it's going to change over time, but still we underestimate the cost of healthcare.
Yes. Yes. This is a factor both for people approaching retirement, but also for young people who aren't very familiar with Medicare. There's this sense of security that, oh, well, good, my healthcare will be taken care of in retirement. But Medicare does not cover a lot of things. It doesn't cover dental, it doesn't cover optometric or vision, it doesn't cover hearing aids, and it doesn't cover long-term care, which can be a huge expense. One of the things to keep in mind is that although we look at increasing medical costs over time, they increase at much faster than the overall rate of inflation. So medical inflation is much higher. So really being sure that you take into account estimating that rate of growth over the years, and then also considering that although your Medicare will be covered as long as you've paid into the system, there might be supplemental costs or other types of out-of-pocket costs that will still be in addition to that Medicare.
Yeah. So, Cheri, this is actually an area where I have a lot of experience in my background helping people, prepare for the cost of healthcare when they retire. And even if you insure against these things, you got to buy into, Medicare Part B.
Right.
You buy a Medicare supplement. You buy into the prescription drug plan, right?
Exactly.
You buy
Exactly.
long-term care insurance. You buy
Mhm.
vision insurance. You buy dental insurance. Even if you insure against these things, the cost of insuring against those is very expensive and adds up over the years as well.
Yeah.
So if you go uninsured, you're putting yourself at a lot of risk if you underestimate those expenses. And if you insure, it can still be expensive, a lot less expensive, but still more than a lot of people have planned for.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the next one. It's failing to plan for taxes in retirement. Now, when you retire, it's very possible that taxes could be one of your largest expenses.
Right.
So, not preparing properly or not having a long-term tax strategy can be very costly. So, let me let you just say more about that.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of times people think that taxation might not be a concern. Oh, I'm not working anymore, therefore it won't be a concern. However, especially when it comes to things like RMDs, if you've worked and built up a large 401k or IRA, once those IRA or RMDs begin, they can be substantial and they can oftentimes bump you completely into a different tax bracket. So, really having good planning, doing Roth conversions over those early years of retirement, if that opportunity exists, is a good way to help keep those taxes down. Um, the other is the Social Security taxation. A lot of people forget that at a certain income level, up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxable. So they fail to take that into account as well. Now, a lot of people going through retirement are living off of their investments during that period of time as well. And so the other thing to consider is the fact that you're going to have taxation on any capital gains. You're going to be buying and selling certain investments over that period of time. And so any of those that are done in taxable accounts, obviously, are going to generate more taxable income.
Okay. A lot of your comments that you just made kind of are teeing up the next one, the fifth on your list,
Yep.
which is not having a good withdrawal strategy in retirement.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Most typically, you want to start with your taxable accounts because that pulls that money that's taxable, but also allows your tax-free accounts or your tax-deferred accounts to continue to grow during that period of time. So most typically, you want to be pulling from that initially. The other thing is sometimes people who have a poor withdrawal strategy might be a little too gung-ho and withdraw too much too early and run the risk of running out too soon. So that can be, definitely a concern. On the other end of that, however, you also have those people who risk spending too conservatively. And so in the end, they find that they didn't get to enjoy their retirement years as much as they truly could have because they had the means to do so. They just didn't have that sense of security.
Okay. So I said I was going to end with a bonus one.
Mhm.
You almost stole it from me with some of your comments, but not quite. And so I was talking to a friend earlier this week who just got back. He and his siblings had to bury his father.
Okay.
And, one of the things that he mentioned to me was his dad probably saved too much money, had too much cash on hand, and he wishes his father would have lived a better life in retirement and not
Hmm.
worried so much about saving money. And
Yeah.
that's a mistake that I think a lot of people make. And
Mhm.
and if you're working with a good financial planner, they should be able to help you strike that balance between making sure you have enough to live on for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
include any legacy that you might want to leave behind if that's important to you,
Hmm.
but also making sure that you are enjoying the life that you've earned and you are having a good retirement and not making too many sacrifices, worried about saving too much. And so, a lot of people have made that mistake, especially people our parents' age or from the previous generation.
Hmm.
That's a mistake that we see people make too often. You talked about that a little bit, but I just thought I would throw that in since that
Yeah.
conversation
No,
happened.
now to your comment, a lot of times you find people who sometimes it's more important to them to leave a legacy, but they forget the fact that sometimes that can be used instead to create memories during life, right? To go on a vacation together or have life's experiences that, maintain or build that experience for the entire family.
That's right. So,
Yeah.
Cheri, as usual, you brought a lot of great content to our
Mhm.
discussion today. So, thank you. Again, Cheri and I are with Client First Capital. You can find us at clientfirstcap.com.
Mhm.
And there you can sign up for our newsletter where we tackle a lot of great topics. And you can also find other videos such as this to learn more about various financial topics. And you can also find out about our firm, what we do, how we serve our clients, and you can also reach out to us and schedule an appointment from there. Again, that's clientfirstcap.com. Cheri, thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.